In the past, I've been able to monitor my water usage by using a meter that clamped, or a sensor that clamps onto my water meter. Well, I moved a couple of years ago and we have smart meters now. Well, smart meters use a cellular or mesh network that's encrypted, and there's no way for me to monitor my own water usage. Now, I can get some updates through the water company, but it's maybe the next day or whatever, and it doesn't really tell me near real time what's happening with my water usage in case I have a leak or something like that. So I'm going to install this device here from Hydrific. It is a droplet water. They call it the droplet. It's a water sensor that connects right to your pipes. It's very simple. It takes about 5 minutes to install. It says it can detect water leaks, control water from your phone. I don't know how you control it, but you can see what's happening from the phone. You can potentially use it to save money, conserve water, all of that kind of stuff. And again, I said it's about a 5-minute install. According to them, the reasons to use it to prevent leaks, self-install in minutes, so it does just clamp on there. And you can kind of see where your water is going. It uses some sort of, I guess, technology, sensor technology, AI, something, whatever, in order to determine what devices are actually running. So you can determine a toilet, a faucet, a shower, a bathtub, stuff like that. So we're going to play with it. We're going to get it installed, and we're going to see what happens. There's also a built-in integration in Home Assistant now with Home Assistant version 10.2025. So the October release of Home Assistant, there is an integration that allows you to have a couple of sensors from this device, local push, so no cloud, to get that information into Home Assistant. You can also add it to your energy dashboard as a water consumption item. So let's go through putting it on the pipe. And then also I'm going to show you the integrations that are available for it. There's a second integration that's much more complicated, provides a lot more sensors, I believe. And we'll play with that briefly and see if we can get that to work. So let's get started. So let's do a quick check of what's in the box here. It's from hydrificwater.com. And let's just open it up and see what we've got. There's the Hello the Droplet app, the setup guide, and normal marketing stuff there. Again, another quick start guide here. Plug it in, clamp it on your pipe. You get a blue light, and then you can do your stuff. There's a little thank you card. And then this is the device itself. And basically, you take it on your, put it around your pipe here. And you adjust, the pipe goes through here. And then you clamp it down with this little clamp right here. And yeah, that's how you put it on there. It's got a power port right here, it looks like. And of course, the thing lights up as you turn it on. What else is in the box here? Fancy little cardboard. This is the power plug for it. So here's a little USB-C. And this is going to be, let's see if I can get it to focus. That is a 1000 milliamps, so 1 amp, 5 volt device there that comes with it. And then you've got your power cable, so it's pretty much standard USB. Got a USB on the end there. Plug it in. And then this goes into the device itself right over here. So there you go. There's the device. So let's go put it on the pipe and then see what happens with it. All right, you want to make sure that you get the pipe nice and clean. I had some paint on here and I just scraped it off with a knife, and then I went back and kind of wiped it off with a paper towel. But you need to make sure it's pretty clean before you put the droplet on there. All right, so now I'm going to put the droplet on. It just basically clamps on the pipe without any tools. I just flipped it around because of the power cable and where I wanted it. You just kind of tighten it down on there. Again, no tools required at all. Super simple to install. And one thing you want to make sure that you do when you get it installed is that it'll start flashing orange. And I didn't show it in this video, but it starts to flash orange when you start to put it on. So you want to have it plugged in before you do this. I did it kind of backwards. So plug it in and you get a flashing orange light. Make sure that you get a blue light like you see here. This is what you want it to look like when it's done, having that blue light, because it tells you that the device is actually able to work with the pipe and it's not got a problem with connectivity. All right, so adding into the app is just as simple as downloading the app, the Droplet app, on the card that came with it. There's a quick start install Droplet app. You just click on the QR code, gives you the app. So that's all you need there. Once you have the app installed, then we go through the process of actually setting things up here. So you're going to be asked for permissions for Bluetooth and notifications. You can enable those. Bluetooth is required because you need to be able to talk to the device with Bluetooth. And that's how it communicates and sets things up for the device. When you initially go into the app, you're going to have to create an account, just like you do with pretty much everything else. So you have a choice of, Google and Apple, Facebook, or just straight up email. So you choose which one you want. Agree to the terms and conditions, and then we click on create the account. Now, once the account is created, it's going to ask you to set up your home info. I'm not sure what exactly it does with it, but I filled it out and then clicked on continue with my address and everything else. And then it's going to ask you whether you live in a single family home, apartment, or other, and then how many people are in the house. So you just select all those things. And then you can set the number of devices for each type of device. So irrigation system. Now, if you're doing this internally and your irrigation system is on a different part of the system, you won't need that. I don't have my irrigation system in this because it comes in before it branches off where I'm at right now, where I have the measurements. So I'm just doing internal stuff. Now select the number of showers, number of bathtubs. You can also rename these things as you go here to the different rooms, different whatever areas they're at, so that you know later on when you tag, and you have the ability to tag devices when it's running, to be able to know which things are using the most water. So you can do all of that, add all your devices, and edit them here if you want to. You can edit it later also, by the way. So get all those in there. And then once that's all done, you're going to want to install the Droplet, which we already went over. And once you have it installed, which we do, and you have the blue light, it's going to set up a Bluetooth connection to your Droplet, because that's how it communicates. And then it's going to try to connect to, or look for Wi-Fi networks for you to connect to. So you'll choose your Wi-Fi network, you'll put in your Wi-Fi password, get all that stuff done. And then once that's done, click on continue. Assuming everything is correct and you're not blinking orange, you'll click on the start pipe detection button at the bottom of the app. And that app will then run a detection for a couple of minutes. It'll ask you, once it does that, it's going to ask you to go and flush a toilet. And that's how it determines whether or not it actually can see if it can detect water flowing through the pipe. So you'll flush that toilet, and if everything works correctly, you'll get a congratulations thing popped up, say it's now set up and now you're ready to use this this device just by itself with the app. All right, so you've got your Droplet connected to the pipe. You've got your Droplet connected to your app. The app's all done all the verification, and so you know it's working in the app. Next step is, if you want to connect it to Home Assistant, you need to add the integration. And as I mentioned, here's an integration that's available as of October 2025. That's the release of Home Assistant where this became available. It allows you to seamlessly connect your Home Assistant to the Droplet, and it is local push. What that means is that it automatically, or it's local, there's no cloud or anything involved. It gets the information directly from the Droplet device. So in order for you to do that, though, what you need to do is you need to go into the app itself. And in the app, you need to go to account settings, click on account, then you click on the smart home integrations, choose Home Assistant here, not MQTT. This one uses Home Assistant, so choose that one. You need to be nearby your device because it's going to connect to it via Bluetooth. And then once it connects to it, you'll be able to click on Enable Home Assistant. When you're done enabling Home Assistant, it will bring you a code or give you a code. That is the code that you're going to be putting into your Home Assistant instance when you do the integration. So that's all done right here in this section right here. And then you need to add the integration to My Home Assistant. And if you've installed everything properly and you've turned that on, or got the integration enabled in your app, what you should actually see is you should see that this droplet shows up here as a device. And if it does, you don't need to go add the integration manually. You just click on add, and then you put in that pairing code, and then you click on submit, and it shows up as a device. Now, I've done this already on my other Home Assistant instance. So let's take a look at that one. And you'll see that, let me go to integrations first. I mean, this is super simple. And this is a incredibly simple setup for this particular device. So here's the droplet droplet integration. And here's the droplet that has been set up. Now, when you set it up, you'll be able to put the location area it's in and all of that. You click on it here, you're going to get 4 sensors. You're going to get the flow rate, the water, gallons usage or whatever, and you're going to get the server status and signal quality. So those are the 4 things that you're going to end up getting from this integration. So if you look at flow rate, for example, this is the graph, obviously, that you have with the flow rate. And it's like any other history graph within Home Assistant. It contains the historical data for this device. Now, I didn't start it until, earlier in the day. So if we go to 4 o'clock p.m. till 5 o'clock p.m., select it. Let's just select today's date. You'll see that here's the water usage in here throughout this period of time. So it does show the water usage flow rate. That was a flow rate. And then you actually have the water itself. Now, one thing it doesn't do is it doesn't keep an actual total amount of gallons used. So to do that, you want to add it to your energy dashboard. So if we go back into our energy dashboard over here, we can go down here and we can add different things. So if you click on the 3 dots in energy configuration, you have the ability to add water consumption here. So you would add a water source and you would select which device you wanted to use. We already have it here, so it won't let me select it again, but you would choose the track or do not track costs, or use a static price, or however you want to do this. This is just like your electricity pricing. Once you do that, then you can actually see your water usage within this period of time. So I'm going to give it some time to run. I've got it about 2 hours worth in here. So we'll continue to watch it. But in terms of getting it installed in the Home Assistant, it's super easy to go in there and put it on the pipe. It takes you about 5 minutes. Get it hooked up to the app. It takes you a couple of minutes. And then you come over here, install the integration, and you've got 4 things running, added to, of course, to your energy dashboard, like I just showed you. And voila, there you have it. So that's the setup of the droplet, from installing it on the pipe all the way to getting it in the Home Assistant. If I wasn't filming this, I think the total amount of time that took me was probably about 10 to 15 minutes max. Very fast, very simple, very easy use for that. Now, there's another integration that you can use with the droplet to bring data into Home Assistant. This one is called Water Monitor. It's a custom integration for water usage monitoring. It provides session tracking, gap handling, hot water analytics, and optional leak detection with water shutoff valve support if you have a shutoff valve. You only need a flow sensor because it derives everything else from the flow sensor. The volume sensor, hot water sensor, and shutoff valve control is optional. Now, if you do supply a volume sensor to this integration, Water Monitor will use it directly. And then this is ideal if you want volumes to align with the energy dashboard. It also supports multiple instances. So you can have multiple instances if you have multiple droplets, for example, you could, I guess, do most of them or multiple of them. It also has a package, which is new as of this recording anyway. It has actionable notifications that you can install directly in the Home Assistant. It requires you to either copy the YAML code from here into a packages YAML file, or you download it directly and put it into your packages folder on your Home Assistant instance. And it talks about doing that through the YAML file. There's instructions in there. This thing has a lot of features, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time with it because what you saw just a minute ago is the super simple version of getting your water usage and flow meter into Home Assistant. You can derive automations and things from that. If you want to set a high flow alert, you can set an automation for that. If you want a low flow alert for over a certain period of time, for example, if you've got a very slow amount of water going somewhere for a certain amount of time, let's say 10 or 15 minutes, and it shouldn't be, then you can set an alert for that through automation. And if you come down here and you look at how it works, it will show you basically a timeline or something here. So it starts when flow goes from 0 to greater than 0. It has session gap tolerances, which means that if water turns on, turns off for a couple seconds, turns back on again, it will consider that a single session. What I don't really understand is what the purpose of doing session-based tracking is. I'm trying to think about it, and there's probably a reason for it. And if you are the author of this particular integration, I'm happy to have you comment on that and let me know what this is for. If the flow stops, the session remains open for the gap tolerance. So the gap is how many seconds between flow, the water flowing there is. And the session finalizes once the gap tolerance elapsed. Duration and averages exclude gap time, and the session is recorded if it meets the minimum volume and duration. So I'm sure there are use cases for that. I'm just not sure exactly what that does. So anyway, there's a lot of stuff you can set up in here. And if you want to do this, you have to go into the application in your droplet, and you need to change it from Home Assistant, and you need to set up MQTT instead. And it's the same process. You go into the accounts, you click on Smart Home Integrations, click on MQTT. Again, you need to be by your device because it's going to use Bluetooth to connect to it. If you turn on MQTT, it's going to disable the Home Assistant automation. So you only can run one or the other, at least as of this video recording. So if you want to turn off the Home Assistant integration and go with this new one, then you would do MQTT authentication, and then you'd set up your MQTT server with all the username, password, and everything that's required for it. And once it's authenticated, you're done. You can get out of the app and go into Home Assistant and set up the integration. So if we go over to Home Assistant now, let me just kind of show you what that looks like. It's the same as setting up any other HACS kind of integration. So this isn't a HACS available integration. So we go over here and we look for water monitor, and it's here. So I'm going to click on it and download it. Over here, and standard stuff for this. Now you probably will have to restart Home Assistant, or at least refresh to get the integration to show up. So we're just going to search for water monitor, and here it is right here. Now this is where you go through the setup of everything. You give it a sensor name. You can select an entity. So let's choose a droplet sensor for this. So droplet sensor flow rate. And if you want to do the volume sensor, it does say it will do it will use it directly. I don't have a hot water sensor. I don't have a water shutoff valve. Now, if I want to enable a low flow leak detection, I'll click on that. And let's see if I get an error. Last time I tried this, I got an error. And I do. It says unknown error occurred. I'm not sure why that is. So that could be a bug in this application or the integration. So if I click on submit now, it does have, the information. So now you get the same kind of information that you got with the easier to install integration or the native integration. So you get session volume, daily analysis status, and last session volume, all of this stuff, right? So anyway, the point is this is a very complicated looking integration, and it probably has some use cases, but I need to spend quite a bit of time to really understand it. If you're getting a droplet and you want to just monitor your usage within Home Assistant, and you want to go into Home Assistant and actually have it track it in the energy portal, the first way I did this, the native integration is native integration is the way to go. If you want to get more detailed, have all these session times and everything else, you might want to look at the water monitor. And I'm not knocking the water monitor or anything. I just don't understand it yet. It seems very complicated to me. When you have one that gives you flow rate and volume, that you can pull an energy meter And then you have another one that you have to do a whole bunch of extra work to make it do what you want it to do. So again, if you're the author of that water monitor, let me know. Reach out to me on Discord or something, and I'll talk to you about it, and you can explain to me some of this. All right, that's enough for this video. The Droplet is a really easy to install tool that you can use to monitor your water usage in your household, your environment. Just remember that it does not replace the water leak sensors that you can get and put in different places. I have water leak sensors underneath my sinks, underneath the water heaters, some places where water might just start flowing out. And you should get an immediate notice, because typically water leak sensors are in dry areas unless there's a problem. Your flow sensor that you're talking about, like with a Droplet, is great for monitoring the usage and tracking your water usage, and some very high level alerts if you have water running for a long period of time, like a leaky toilet or a faucet that was left on or something. That kind of stuff gets alerted to by the Droplet. But if you have water where it's not supposed to be and you want to know quickly, use the leak sensors or water detection sensors. What is it? Moisture sensors. Use those for immediate notice when there's dry areas that become wet. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for supporting me on Patreon, on YouTube memberships, and other places. And with that, we'll see you on the next one.